Hey, everybody, this is Sherry Denny coming to you from the wonderful Las Vegas. And I am going to do a real short interview with a dear friend of mine that I just recently met here in Las Vegas. And he is working with the Asirvia, the Go by Asirvia as well. And it's Pete Thomas. And I've got to tell you, Pete, I am so happy to be working with you because you have brought so many things to light and some really cool ideas that people might be getting a little bit hung up on or actually even stuck in the mud. And you have the answers to that because of your background. Give us a little bit of your background, as short as you can. I know you've done so much, but give us a little of your background so people realize, wow, this is the real deal.
Yeah, a little bit of my background. I've ran some really large companies in the day. One of them was a giant virtual tour company that I started that Media News Group purchased. So I was dealing with about 2,500 realtors. So I understand the real estate market. I've done web development. I've done SEO. I've done all the different social media platforms. So I have a really good background in looking at the stuff and explaining it to the layperson who's isn't oriented on technology. It's simple. Keep it simple, stupid. That's what I look at whenever I'm talking to people, because you have to get it to the point where people can really understand it. And that's what I hope that I can bring to the table with all the people that need this kind of help.
And that's so true, you guys. We just want to keep this real, keep it relevant. And I was able to sit down with Pete one morning, and I was literally blown away at his knowledge. It's like he's an IT guy from Silicon Valley. I swear, you guys, it was just like, wow, the information that this guy has. So here was one of my questions. It's interesting. A lot of people get their goes, and they only get 3, and they're wondering, is this going to work? I'm going to get my feet wet. And you found out results right away. Do you want to tell me what that is? And I actually have a screenshot. I'll go ahead and let you go, speak.
Yeah,
I'll show the screenshot.
The first thing I wanted to do before I actually reached out to all my people that are professionals in business and network marketing was to actually test the product, because I always believe that whatever I'm going to get into, I want to make sure that it works as advertised. And the whole basis of the Go units is being able to have like a billboard on a keychain, that these things are constantly transmitting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, directly to smartphones that have the nearby system installed on the Google Android system, and all phones do. You might need to be able to turn yours on, but it's all basically in the operating system. So there's no reason why somebody can't get it on an Android smartphone. So I went out, and remember, it's called a Go. If it was called a stay, you would leave it in one place, sit in your apartment, and watch TV all day long and expect that the whole world would be beating a path to your door. So I went out in Las Vegas. I went out to big trade shows. I went into the big malls. I went down on the strip. I tested out the units, how many people are getting these, because the exposure is the key. So I developed statistics, and then I actually tracked the second stage. You're getting the exposures. So as far as I'm concerned, if you want exposures to your business, the Go's are doing it. So that is exactly what the product is designed to do. Now, the next step comes in when you're dealing with your messages. Okay. Now, your messages that get delivered to the smartphones have to be something that's going to be compelling enough for someone to touch it, right? So if you're in the dog park and you've got your Go's in your pocket, then don't be blasting out that go get your windows repaired or something. Maybe you want to run a message about veterinarians or something to deal with pets, because a consumer is going to look at that, and it's just like getting an email. If you don't like the subject line, it's not compelling and interesting, it does not relate to you, you're not going to click on it. So message refinement is the second thing that gets you click-throughs. So then it becomes, well, how do you track click-throughs? Well, I use BitLinks to track every message that I have to see where it goes. Is it responding to car dealers? Is it, because I'm changing these things and testing them. So I've got the affirmation of what happens The exposures are working. The exposures are working when they're sitting in my living room window and it's hitting the cars at night that are going by. I'm getting exposures all the time. The second thing is, well, what are people interested in? You know, on those messages and the different businesses that you're promoting, what are they clicking on? And then the third thing becomes utilizing your goes like the Go Plus, where you're actually having an offer on there. And I tell the business owners, look, you put an offer using the Go Plus, it has a coupon on it. And when they come into your business to get that discount or that special, you know, and they show it on their phone, they know the only reason they got that customer is because of the Go. There's no other way they could have got it. So it's a 3-stage process, and you have to spend time. You have to go out. You have to talk to people. This is not a passive system, but it definitely delivers what it promises, which are exposures. If you're at a ballpark or a big place where there's tons and tons of people, you're going to get exposures through the roof. And I've pretty much proven that to myself and the people that I've got on board with this program.
Yeah, and you know what, Pete? I actually have a screenshot of that right here, of the proof that you sent me one day. So I want to go ahead and share this with people right now. You see that? It's a big thank you to Pete Thomas. Here's proof. As a member, started 2 goes on the 17th of May. You can read that. And activated his on the 3rd.
On the 26th. At that point in time, I had 1,183 exposures. Now, those are little exposures, right? And of that, I had 313 that clicked through to my website. Now, understand there's a difference between, I have all this embedded on a website, tracking everything, okay? Which is going to be different than just having a Asirvia homepage, okay? So because I can do that, that click-through rate was 26.45%. Now, businesses normally, if they're doing something like Google AdWords, they're lucky if they're getting 2%, Facebook 0.9%, online display banners, I mean, I've known business owners that have literally spent $3,000 on a Google AdWords campaign, had all those AdWords go out, and it didn't result in one click-through.
Right.
All that money went up in smoke, okay? With this device, using the Go, it's there working for you every day. It's providing the exposures. It's up to you to develop the message. And then anytime somebody clicks through on that, you've got somebody that you can engage with, especially if you have the Go Plus, and it's got that little phone number in it that people can press and talk to you right away. So, you know, and you got to go out there and do face-to-face. You know, They deliver the messages, but get out there.
Yeah, so that when I got that, I was so pleased to get that because you took the time, and there's other people that have done this as well. However, I have a lot of people on this team. Both of us are growing big teams, and we want to be able to get this message out as brilliantly to everybody that we can. You know, here's another thing that people get stuck in the mud, or, you know, they just kind of stop, or maybe they're a green personality and they have to figure everything out. One of the things that, you know, we started with in the beginning, we were talking about iOS, and we said we don't want to be known as an app company. Well, you came up with one of the best sentences I've heard in a long time is, it's iOS, it is Apple, and you can't do anything on iOS without an app. That's the way they operate. So right. What do you say to people when you go, you know, this is going to show up on your phone? You don't want to wait for this to happen. However, we are revamping the whole entire website, and with Mark Croson with Look Locally that has come on board, they are literally, instead of going around Google, they're shaking hands with Google and being able to code this into the back door of a lot of apps that people already have on their iPhone, on their iOS device. So maybe you can help explain that.
That makes sense. I mean, basically, they'll end up plugging into any of those apps that are, think about it, it's like piggybacking onto something, okay? If you already have this installed, right, and you can piggyback into that app that you already have on your iPhone, then you'll be able to access this thing without installing an app, because you have one on your phone already that does that becomes the vehicle. It's like the highway to get from point A to point B. Once the little highway is built, you can get out of your little town and you can go to the next one. But in the meantime, the easy workaround solution, I tell most of the customers that I deal with, because my background is in Silicon Valley, tons and tons of realtors, everything, they all have iPhones. Well, the people, I just tell them to download the physical web app, and they can see everything that the Go is transmitting. The big plus to me, and you've got it on your phone as well.
I'm going to bring that up actually, is so that people know what we're talking about. That right there is physical web. And when I click on that, it is going to bring up all the devices, even any other devices that are in the area that have, you know, your Bluetooth is enabled and it's nearby. It's going to show up right here. So go ahead, Pete.
Right, and that becomes important because let's say that you're in an area where there's a lot of presence of proximity marketing, because I know big Fortune 500 companies already use beacons inside the store. If you walk into a Nordstrom's, you walk into a Macy's, they're targeting inside the store to where people should go for something that they might need, that they've got a product that's on sale or things that they have to move. So the beauty of it is if you walk into a mall with this device on your phone and you got your Goes in your pocket, you're going to see what your Goes are transmitting. And if there's anybody else that's transmitting something, well, guess what? Those people are probably transmitting just very much inside their storefront. So who would be a better opportunity than to walk up to somebody that is already using big beacon technology inside to get to the people on the outside, which their beacon technology won't do?
And you know, that is a very good scenario for how the physical web works and how you're able to get this on your iOS device. Now, here's what I've been, you know, when I approach people and they go, well, heck, everybody I know has an iPhone. I said, great. Do you know that most of the millennials right now have some type of app on their phone so they can see nearby? Because they can call Siri if they want. A lot of people have turned off Siri for whatever reason or another. And they have an app on there that shows this. So I just asked them, I go, well, do you want to get some of the market through Android or none of the market? Yeah, well, now you can get all of the market by simply either downloading physical web for now, because we have shook hands with Google. We're not going around them. We are working with them and getting in on the phone, and you'll hear about this later, how it's actually going to happen. I don't think everybody needs to know the details of how is that getting on my phone. You guys, it's magic.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the best thing to tell a customer. Well, how does this happen? You know, it's one thing if they've got a PhD in technology. It's another thing if they're a business owner. How does it happen? It's magic. Everybody understands magic. You go to Vegas and watch one of the magicians at work. It's magic. I mean, there's a way it happens, but to everyone, it's magic in the same case.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Pete. And again, I just want to thank you for taking the time out today for us to do this little interview. And we'll get this out on our messaging. And, you know, hopefully we'll be able to help a lot of people out on these few issues that seem to arise all the time, and you know, we'll get past this. So it's not a negative thing. This is so positive what we're doing with Asirvia right now, and this amazing Go device. So thank you so much, Pete.
Thank you so much, Sherry. Go team, go.